Hello, hello. If you are watching this recording, feel free to skip ahead about a minute or so to get to the content. I'm going to give you a quick second to get on and let me share this out in a few places. I'm actually on the move this morning, so I might not get to give everybody a chance to get on. So, okay. So first, I want to welcome you to the show. My name is Lysandra Everett. I am your host. 9 o'clock-ish, and when you tune into my show, you are going to hear about tax topics. I am the Home Biz Tax Lady. I help home business owners win the tax game. We're talking about keeping more of your money and paying less taxes. That is what I do. Today's topic comes from a new friend, Colin, and he wants to know, do I need a physical copy of my receipts, or is a credit card or bank statement good enough? Okay, so what we're really talking about here is documentation. What type of documentation do home business owners need in order to substantiate a claim for a deduction? Okay, so here we go. First of all, you need the receipt. Now, you can have the physical receipt, or you can have a copy of the receipt, or a scanned copy of the receipt, because the receipt contains information that a bank statement or a credit card statement doesn't have. With your receipt, you need to answer the 5 W's and an H: the who, what, when, where, why, and how much. Okay, so you need to answer the who. If you have if you have a meal expense, for instance, who did you have it with? Or if you had entertainment expense, who else were you with? Okay, and that can be a client or a potential client. What was the expense? Did you, if it was a regular expense? Good morning, Erica. Girl, I'm talking fast because I'm on the move. Okay, so if it's a what, were you buying office expenses, or were you having was it a dinner meal or a lunch event? Okay, when, the date. Okay, very plain and simple. Why? If you were meeting with someone, why were you meeting with them? Were you meeting with them to talk about a product that you have? Were you consulting with them about a particular issue in their business? Why were you having this meeting? Or why were you, buying, office supplies? That's your why. If you got to go buy a ream of paper, why is it office supplies? How much? Okay, how much did you spend? That is what is on the receipt. So when we're talking about documentation, the IRS is going to want to see copies of receipts. Thank you so much for sharing, Erica. In the event that you are audited, you want to make sure that you have copies of your receipts. Again, it doesn't have to be physical receipts, because receipts fade over time. Okay, so physical receipts are great. Make a copy. Or there are lots of places that will email you receipts now, so you don't even have to keep the paper. All right. So I love the email, the receipt part, because I can just go back in my email and find it and print it off or what have you. Now, the main thing that people freak out about is, oh my gosh, how am I going to keep up with all this paper? Listen, do the simple thing. Get an envelope, put all of your receipts in an envelope or a folder. I have a folder where I keep all of my receipts until I'm ready to reconcile them. I just drop them in there. I don't have to, here's a functional thing that you can do. Okay, when we're talking about receipts, let's say you take a client out to lunch. Once you get in the car, on that receipt, before you even start up the car, you write down lunch with Erica Vincent, potential client, talked about, ways to improve her tax situation with her business, and that's it, because the receipt is going to have the where and the date. So you just need to fill in the information the information that is not there. So when you're talking about substantiating a claim to the IRS, Having the receipt is what you need. Having a credit card statement or a bank statement means absolutely nothing. Why? Because the only thing that a bank statement or a credit card statement does is tell the IRS that there was a charge, okay? It doesn't tell the IRS what the charge was for or anything like that. So the IRS really has no way of knowing if that charge was for a business expense. And with the IRS, what, guys? You are guilty until you prove yourself innocent. The only way you can prove yourself innocent and substantiate that expense is if you have a receipt and you have in the documentation written down that says who you were with or what have you. If you're talking about a meal expense, or if you have, if you've got a receipt from Staples, right? You can buy plenty of stuff from Staples, y'all. Did y'all know that? Staples, Office Depot, I get sucked into them every time I go in there. I love those places. Okay. But the thing about it is, though, your bank statement or credit card statement is only going to show that there was a charge. It's not going to show exactly what you paid for. So that's what the receipt does. The receipt provides detail. So you have a charge at Staples, and for $25 and you spend it on a box of paper. Well, there's plenty of other stuff that you could have bought for $25 at Staples, but if you've got a receipt, you can show where it was a ream of paper for your office supplies. Okay, so that's the difference between having the receipt versus your statement. Your statement only shows that there was an actual charge. Your receipt provides a detail that says what the charge was and exactly how much you spent on that particular charge. Okay, so good morning, everybody. I told y'all I'm talking fast because I got to go get on the softball field and I got to be there in 45 minutes. All right, but anyway, so what's the takeaway? All right, so let me put this in here really quickly, what your documentation needs to have. Okay, the documentation needs to have who, what, when, where, why, how much. And waiting for my computer to catch up because I'm obviously typing faster than it wants to move. Okay, we're talking about, how many of y'all paid attention in English class when you were writing about paragraphs and writing stories and whatnot? You had to have the 5 W's. Okay, we just added an H. Okay, that's all. Documentation needs to specify. All right, so I got that there. So again, this does not have to be complicated.